Hi. Whoops, you can see my little handbag there. Let's get rid of this viewing. That's not always good, is it? Get rid of that so you can't see that I've been shopping. Whoops-a-daisy. Let's go back to that. You are now live. That's always fantastic when I have to duck off camera for you to see that. Thank you for joining me. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, here to go live on how to rest guilt-free. And I would love to know if you're here live or if you're here on a replay and where you are in the world. So I am in New Zealand, as we all take the mickey out of my accent because that's what my team keep telling me. So yes, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist in New Zealand, to talk about how to rest guilt-free. And I have done that the last 2 days. I've completely rested. And even this morning I was resting longer than I normally do in bed before I even got out of bed. And so how did I actually manage to do that guilt-free? I'm going to talk to you clearly today about that. So when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, imagine a world where you could actually do what you want, when you want, and how you want. So do what you want, when you want, and how you want it. Does that sound divine? Does that actually sound like, oh, imagine it. Imagine just making your own decisions when you feel like it, on your own time frame, with your own people around, and it works for you. Well, it's actually achievable. It's actually achievable because this is what I'm going to teach you today, is being about guilt-free in doing what you want, when you want, and how you want it to look like. And that's literally about being guilt-free of making your own choices and being not just okay, but being perfect with your choices. So when I looked at the rest meaning in the dictionary, it came up, it was a goodie. It came up and it said cease work or movement in order to relax, sleep, or recover strength. I did like the recover strength. The other one was be placed or supported so as to stay in a specific position. Okay. So when I think about that, cease work or movement in order to relax, sleep, or recover strength, my meaning was taking time out from stuff. And I quite like the first one because it actually meant it's just taking time out from things, stuff. Now, when I think stuff, what stuff is, I think about work. I think about people. Because, you know, when you're peopled out or you're worked out, your phone, anything around you, your space, when you just, anything around that stuff, whatever that is, your space, but not life. It's not about taking time out for life. That's a little bit different. It's taking time out from sections of life. You will have known, or depending on your age, we've gone through that phase of work-life balance. You must have a work-life balance. There was the 4-hour week that you work. There's work. You've got to have work, and you've got to have life, and you've got to have this and this and this. Yep, okay. I understand that. It's not quite like that. Because if you actually have to struggle to find your work-life balance, there's a bigger issue going on. That's clearly time management over other things. And there's definitely going to be some guilt sitting in there. So it's not quite like work-life balance. It's just actually how to be able to rest, chill, take time out, whatever that is, from stuff. And I reference it as that you're replenishing your soul. And when I talk about your soul, I'm talking about your body and your mind, replenishing your soul. We know that we've had people who talk about the half cup, cup half full and cup half empty, and you can't serve someone else your cup unless your cup's full and all this, and I don't even know the analogy now. But I do know you can actually fill your own cup up at any time, whenever you feel like it. You don't have to wait for the time to have your cup full. So when we think about that, if you want to fill your own cup, or if you want to wait to half fill it and half empty it, anything like that, you're entitled to whatever it is you desire. And I'm saying what you desire because there's a difference to a want and a need. So anything that you desire, you're entitled to it. Remember at the start I talked about imagine a world where you could do what you want, when you want, and all those things. That's it. If you desire it, you can absolutely have it. And it's around that deserve level and actually allowing it into your space, because you are entitled to have anything you desire if you have the right time frame, of course. So if you feel your urge is to have a snooze, when I talk about replenishing your soul, if your urge is to have a snooze in the day, a 10-minute snooze, a 5-minute snooze, a 30-minute snooze, a 2-hour snooze, statistics say that you just need a 15-minute. Look, if you want to take 20 minutes, forget statistics. If you want to take 2 hours during the day, forget statistics. If you want to have a 5-minute, forget statistics. Don't worry about that. Do what replenishes your soul. So today you may going to take a 10-minute snooze. That's fine, 10 minutes. Tomorrow you might not need anything. The day after you may want 30 minutes. Is that okay? Or are you going against the grain? Does it really matter if you take 10 minutes or 30 minutes if you've got the time to do it, clearly? So this is about what's best for you. Oh yeah, hi Anna. Replenishing your soul. I know, it is about replenishing your soul. It totally is. So the key is here to do what replenishes your soul. So if you're going to walk away, have a snooze during the day, or you're going to walk, you're going to leave home and go for a 5-minute walk or a 10-minute walk, or you're going to leave the office and walk around the block, or if you can do that in these times, any of those things, you do what fits right for you. What fits for right for you may not fit tomorrow. It may just fit today. It may have fitted last week but didn't today. That's okay. You just work what's best for you. So I'm not going to give you any statistics on what works for you, because you know, your body and mind knows exactly what is right for it. So if you're looking at drinking or eating healthier, anything like that, if you would like to go for a bath during the day instead of at night time, when people say you have to have a bath at night, oh, you're wasting all the water, and oh, how can you have a bath on a hot day? All these stories that other people have, crazy. So you do what replenishes your soul, which is your body and your mind, and only you know what works for you. Now, clearly I'm going to give you some tips around how to figure out what goes on for your body and what works for you today to tomorrow. Absolutely. But I really would love you to get the note that if today you have a snooze for 10 minutes or you shut your eyes for 10 minutes, that's totally okay. That is okay. And in 3 days' time, you don't snooze, but you just sit present and you look outside the window, have a beautiful view, find some things that really replenish your soul. If it's smelling in the garden, taking time away and going down to the garden, whatever it is, drinking your water in a cup or a drink bottle, whatever works for you. It must work for you, but it may not work for you next time. So when we say all these things, there's a guilt, because I'm clearly going to talk about how to rest guilt-free. And guilt is a churner to everybody. Guilt will destroy your soul so quickly if you do not work on it. Now, when I looked up the meaning of guilt, because as you'll know if you've followed me for a bit, you'll know that the dictionary meaning is not often Deborah's meaning. That's okay. But when I looked at the guilt meaning, that's what it said. It said, the fact of having, now this is the fact of having committed a specified or implied offense or crime. Holy moly. The fact of having committed a specified or implied offense or crime. That's guilt. Well, bugger me. If you're going to have guilt and you've implied an offense or crime, you're screwed. Because the question here is, whose crime have you committed? If you're going to rest guilt-free, there's some crime that you're doing, and that's playing in your mind. So who is this person who's told you that this is a crime? So who's telling you to do these things? You can't rest, you can't do this. Who are they? Because there's things about these people as the level of importance. Now, if you're at work and someone goes, you can't go to the tea room right now, we need you to do something. Okay, You're a little bit tied with that because you are bound by an agreement and you are bound by a salary and you are bound by things, but you're also bound by your own soul that sits right for you. If other people are on a time frame and they've got you on their train to help them with things, then yeah, you're a little bit stuck. So I'm clearly going to help you with that. So just hang fire here on this. But who are these people who are telling you that you must do this by this time frame, or you must not rest, or you must not? Because they're the ones who are putting this implied offense or crime. They're the ones. And so let's just forget them right altogether and go back to the start when I said imagine a world where you can do what you want, when you want, how you want. So imagine if those people didn't tell you what to do and you could just make your own choices. Now, are we getting it? Are we getting it? So who are these people that have said that you have a crime for resting? Because often this crime for resting or this guilt is actually not your guilt. It's because someone else has told you to do something. Because you won't have guilt if you rest, if everyone goes, no, go rest. You won't have any guilt if people gave you permission to do it. But the key is for you to give yourself permission to rest, replenish your soul. So the key is, are they important? We want to know, are these people important who have given you this? Are they important? Most often, people have their own time frames, and they have time frames that they've come to you and said, can you get this done by this time? Or can you help me with this? Or can you? So they have their own time frames. If you've agreed to those time frames, you can move them at any time, but you must have a negotiation and a conversation with these people. Now, it's not a confrontation. It's a conversation with these people about the time frame. But you cannot spin it on them at 4 o'clock on a Friday and say, I'm not going to get that to you in the next 15 minutes, knowing your time frame was 4:15. That is not going to work for anyone, personally. So when the moment you start to go, this is going to be impossible to get this done, you must speak up to them and talk to them. And you're going to come from a heartfelt space, and you're going to say things like, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get this done. Is there any way that we can shift this time frame? I don't think I'm going to be able to get this done by 4:15. Is there someone else who can help me with that? If there is. But the sooner you let them know, the sooner things can be resolved. But if you go to them at the very last minute and say, look, it's 4:13. I know I said I'd get this to you at 4:15. It's not going to happen. I know what'll happen if my team did that to me. There's going to be a little bit of chaos. So we want to make sure that we get that as quick as possible when you know that that time frame isn't going to work. And often these people who have this, you're implying an offence or crime, often these people who have asked you to do stuff, they have their own stories, their own blocks, their own things that are going on in their life that they think they're realistic. So unless you talk to them, unless you actually express to them and talk to them about stuff and actually are honest and talk to them, it's not really going to work. So if you go back to them and just say things, speaking from the heart, I'm confused with this, or this doesn't work for me, or is there anything you can give me a hand on, or can you clarify this? The sooner you do it, I'm sure I've done this in enough, the sooner you get to them, the quicker the result we're going to have of resolving it. So the key, you're now going, well, come on, how do we do this guilt-free? There's two questions you're actually going to go through, and they're very simple questions, and you'll know if you've followed me before, you know what I'm going to say. When you have an action to do and you aren't going to get it done, or you're going to have that rest, or you're going to replenish your soul with whatever it is, you're going to take time away and walk in the garden, or go outside and smell the fresh air, or even if it's cold or it's hot, or any of those things, if you have any guilt to this, you're going to ask yourself, question 1 is, how is this a benefit to others of replenishing my soul? Or how does this help others when I replenish my soul? So if today I'm now going to go, instead of this, I went and decided to take time out and have a snooze on the couch, I would ask myself, how is this a benefit to you of me taking a snooze on the couch to replenish my soul? And I would list as many benefits as I possibly could. You may only need to do 10. You may do 20. You may do more than that. You're just going to keep going until you see how it serves the other person, that you're doing something to replenish your soul. Then, and once you've done the others, you're going to do the same exercise, but you're going to do to you. So how is this a benefit to me, but it'll be you clearly, of replenishing my soul and resting up on the couch? If that's what I'm going to do. Replenishing my soul, replenishing my soul. So how is that a benefit to me if I do that? And you're going to do, doesn't matter how many, you may do 10, you may do 5, you may do 20, as many as it takes until you can go, gosh, I can actually go and do this and feel amazing about it. Because that will take your guilt away. That will dissolve all your guilt, any shame you have. You'll know that it served the other person or persons, and you'll know that it served you. Now, I know personally that if I don't take time out, I go crazy. My mind races, my skin gets funny if I'm not resting, my crazy twitchy comes in play, I get a little bit erratic, I start sentences, I stop sentences midway. I know when my body requires that settling down, and I listen to my body. So be aware of your little tics, what goes on. Be aware of what works and what doesn't for you. But also know that tomorrow may be different. But there will still be a similar pattern that goes all the way through this. So that is me over and out on, excuse me, how to rest guilt-free. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to tap into, jump on in, send me a message here, send me a message privately or not. I'm here for you. And today I would love you just to practice how to rest guilt-free and replenish your soul. Thank you for joining me. That's Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, over and out. I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.